Hello, welcome to Virtual Book 25 for 20. And the ideal originally was that there would be five authors and we would do our elevator pitches and then we would each have 5 minutes to engage with the authors. But today is fabulous. There are eight of us. And we're still going to do our elevator pitches and we'll be able to interact with the audience. So I'm going to let all of my cohorts introduce themselves to you and tell you where they are from before we start the elevator pitches.
Uh, my name is Melanie Wells. I'm from Flowood, Mississippi, which is in the Jackson metro area. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you all for having us.
Hello, I am Janice Neal Vincent from Madison, Mississippi, and I am so happy to see you today. Looking forward to this event.
I'm William Tress Jr. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. I wish y'all a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Season's greetings. I'm Mary Hardy from Greenville, Mississippi.
Soraya Noel. I am the co-chair of the Community Library of Mississippi.
Okay, so was that everyone?
Richard is muted.
Oh, Richard, can you unmute?
Unmute.
Okay, and so that welcome to everyone. We just went live. This is virtual book 25 for 20, and Richard Hurst is gonna tell us his name and where he lives before we start our pitches.
Hi, I'm Richard Hulse. I live in Oxnard, California, and I'd like to wish you all Merry Christmas and congratulate President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris for their victory. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, and so again, I'm Meredith Coleman McGee. I'm the chair of Community Library of Mississippi, and I've had the honor of organizing Community Library of Mississippi Goes virtual this year, which we started with reading fairs in July, and then we did a speaking series. And today I get the opportunity to present 8 wonderful authors from different locations. They've just introduced themselves to you. And we're all doing elevator sales pitches, and then we'll be able to interact with you all live on Zoom as well as live on Facebook. So what I want to do is I want to invite you all in the live audience to like us on Facebook, Community Library of Mississippi. And also, I wanted to tell you that everyone here presented topics that some of you may be interested in. For instance, I did a seminar that was 1 hour called Publish My Book earlier, and all of our videos are on our, you go to Community Library of Mississippi and click on videos and you'll see all of them. And Vicki Jenkins is the co-chair, and she was a part of the virtual holiday book festival. Richard Hurst did an amazing presentation of the art of manuscript writing. And Mary Hardy last week did the history of book marketing. Of course, Ms. Hardy is a book seller in Greenville, Mississippi. She has a beautiful bookstore there called the Book Gallery. And Richard Tress, who has written 2 novellas, he did, his topic was a populist politician. And of course, we have Dr. Janice Neal Vincent, a poet and a playwright. She did Black History Then and Now. And Melanie Wells is an assistant principal down the street from me in Rankin County. I'm in Hines County, Mississippi. She was a part of a book vendor at the Virtual Holiday Book Festival. And so now, Miss Wells, are you ready to? Miss Wells is going to do her pitch. We're all going to do our elevator pitches rapidly. We have typed in the chat where we are in order. And Melody is number one.
Hey, good morning. Like I said earlier, my name is Melanie Wells, and I'm excited to be here with you all. I wanted to introduce my book to you, Hybrid Learning Environments. Miss Meredith was just talking about how we're having to do this festival online for the first year, and a lot of you are working online. Your children are going to school virtually and hybrid. We're in a new season in our life right now. And so I wrote this book for parents. I wrote this book for educators. Please take a minute, look at the book. I'm sure you will enjoy it. It actually goes through some ways you can motivate students during this time. And so it's going to share with you charts to help you to understand how to motivate students and how the brain learns. Check it out.
Thank you, Melanie. And if you're in our live audience, you can get the book from her and she can autograph it and of course ship it to you before Christmas. And so I'm the second a person. And then we have Janice is 3, Mary is 4, Vicky is 5, Richard is 6, and William is 7. So my pitch is I just wanted to share with you that I'm the author of several books. The first book I wrote was with Darlene Collier. She's on the cover. It's called Married to Sin, and it's a memoir. And Darlene, she did a lot of amazing things, even though she had a very humble beginnings. Then I have 3 children books. This is a series, the Nashida series. And Nashida is a young Black girl that teaches civics and history. And Nashida visits the Mississippi Old Capitol Museum is the most recent, last year. Nashida visits the Mississippi State Capitol. These are all tours. She takes families and children on a tour with her. And the first one was Nashida visits the Smith Robertson Museum, which was the first Black school in the city of Jackson for Blacks in 1894. And then I have James Meredith Warrior and the America that created him, which is a biography on my uncle, who was the first Black to go to the University of Mississippi in 1962. Then I have Odyssey. This is my great grandmother, which is a collection of my writings for 20 years. And then Odyssey, the hardback is 19. This is 1198. This is 28, 14, 1198. Thank you.
Good afternoon once again. I am Janice Neal Vincent, and of course I'm holding up my book, A Little of Me, A Little of You. This is a spoken word choir book. If you know anything about singing, you know that we sing together, and sometimes there's a leader who directs us in the singing. Then there are times when we all are singing everything together, leader and everybody else. This is the same thing that goes on in the spoken word choir. Now that we are here in the pandemic, we can deal with this spoken word choir at home with our families and with our friends as we go Zoom. It's a wonderful thing to do. There are so many poems in here that fit you and me. That's why this book is called A Little of Me, A Little of You, spoken word choir book. The paperback, which is what I'm holding up now, is $9.24. And of course, there's $3 added there for the shipping cost. The hard copy is $17.95. You can get this book through Amazon or any of the online book publishers, or you can get it directly from me with my autograph. A Little of Me, A Little of You comprises all kinds of poems that we deal with, even in this particular season, Christmas season. There are some poems in here. If you want to think about who you are, where you've been, where you're going, it's A Little of Me, A Little of You, spoken word choir book, Janice Neal Vincent.
Season's greetings. I'm Mary Hardy, co-owner of the Book Gallery in Greenville, Mississippi, and author of 2 books, Uncle Hubbard and the Burlap Sack, I can't get it right, and Snippets of Truth. The books are both based on childhood memories shared with me, and some of which I remember. You may get the books today, $10 each, and that includes shipping, and they will be autographed by me. You can also get them on Amazon.com in paperback and Audible, or you may text me or email me today, and I will ship you the books. Thank you.
Yes, season's greeting. Joyeux Noel. I am Vicki Jenkins, and I am the co-chair of the Community Library of Mississippi. What I am here to do today is to sell the 2 books that are on market for book Christmas gifts. My first book series, which is a volume of 6, which is a 6-volume. Excuse me, I'm still getting caught. Which is a 6-volume set. Writing, math, coloring activities. My picture dictionary is 300 pages of writing, defining images of images and geography maps of America, the art of map of Africa, and a map of the continent of Asia and the other continents. Both books can be purchased and ordered today on Facebook. First book series is $11.98. My picture dictionary, full color hardback, $16.78. Full color softback, $14.98. And there is a softback black and white, which is $5.98. We thank you. Merci beaucoup.
My name is William Tress Jr., and I'm the author of Reverse Guilty Plea. It's a book about a fierce family feud that leads to the wrongful incarceration of Charles Wilson. And this book is called The New Populist Party. It's a book about the same character named Charles Wilson that rises from the very bottom of society the very top of society. And you can get both books for $17 with shipping and handling. And you can get them online on Barnes and Noble or Amazon. You can also get it on Facebook Live, and I can have it autographed and sent to your door. And thank you very much, and Merry Christmas and Season's greetings.
Richard,
Yes, ma'am.
are you doing the elevator pitch?
Yeah, am I not on screen?
Yeah, okay.
Am I not in the right spot?
Yes, you are. You could go ahead.
Okay, I introduced myself earlier, Richard Hulse from Oxnard. I wrote a book about my brother. It's called My Brother Bo, Addicted in Paradise. And it's a book about his life, basically. And I wrote it mainly because when he was a young guy, he was addicted to alcohol and recreation drugs, and then went through rehab. And for 30 years, he was sober. And then he tried to better himself physically by having an operation on his stomach because he had a weight problem, and then subsequent operations on his knees, and became hooked on prescription drugs. And if you would have told me that after 30 years he would have become addicted to drugs again, I would have told you you're nuts. But it did happen, and I thought I'd write this book to give people an opportunity to maybe see if there are any parallels in their family to what my brother was doing that might help them to understand what they got to do to hopefully save their relative's life. But anyway, that's my book, and it's available on through Barnes and Noble, and it's Amazon Books too. I guess you get it through there, and I think you can contact Meredith through her company to purchase the book if you want to. And I can't autograph it. I've got some copies here, but I don't have very many copies, and I just don't have the capacity to send you an autographed copy right now. But I'd like to congratulate Vicki and Meredith for what they've done for the Community Library of Mississippi again. I've said that, I think, once before, and everybody else on the panel here has parroted that. And they're doing wonderful things for not only adults, but in kids, in the state of Mississippi. And I hope that that it snowbounds to other people in other states as far as trying to enhance the literacy of people across the United States. Anyway, that's my spiel. And happy holidays again, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year.
Thank you so much, Richard, for that. And season greetings and happy holidays to everyone that is watching live. And I would like to thank Richard and his wife again because they donated. We have a book club, Learn to Shoot Book Club, and we read virtually, and anyone is welcome to read with us. You get tickets from Eventbrite for the Learn to Shoot Book Club. And I want to thank Richard and his wife for donating 21 books to the Learn to Shoot Book Club. That was a big boost for the content that we'll be reading about. And so all of us have done our pitches, and I just looked to see if there was any questions from the audience. Let me look again. Okay. So I don't see any questions, but I do have a comment, and anybody could just jump in before we do the pictures again, and we could do them in the same order. And I wanted to say that I actually read Melanie's book a few days ago, and I thought it was a very good introduction to hybrid learning. It was very well written, and I also want to say that everyone here has a very, very good product. And I want to tell the audience that if you buy any of these, if you like novellas, the person that William Tress's novellas are stellar. Melanie Wells, an assistant principal, her book is a very good book on hybrid learning. Richard Hurst is a second generation writer. His father wrote for the Los Angeles Times, and his book, My Brother Bo, really is a wonderful biography about his brother who was an extra in Hollywood. And Vicki Jenkins represents our two early learning books, my first book series and my picture dictionary, which is an absolute great gift for any child ages 4 to 7. And then you have Janice Neal Vincent. I personally think that her spoken word choir book, which I've never heard of a spoken word choir until I met her, and then to see it live was like a Disney movie for a child. I mean, it was just spectacular. And I think that any teacher, I think every teacher in the country should get a copy of the book if they are a music teacher, because you can take her poetry and do all kinds of activities for children. And then Mary Hardy is a book reteller, and also she is an author, and she has written 2 very wonderful books. She grew up in small place McGee. Her family is still on the land. They were farmers. They still have, I think, chickens running around. But anyway, she wrote about what she what she knows, and I'm just saying, you buy anything from any of these 8 authors, you're gonna be satisfied. And if you get any of these gifts for people and they like biographies, poetry, novellas, biographies, the hybrid book, they're gonna be satisfied with it. So we could tell you how you could get if you want to buy it from us now, you can. If you prefer an autographed copy, if not, you can buy any of these titles anywhere you buy books anywhere in the world, because they are all available and have and many of them are very well rated in the by readers from different places, even different countries. So we can now start our pictures again. Let me see. Melanie, you're first, and then me, and then Janice, Mary, Vicky, William, and Richard. Let me go back to see if I see any comments. And this is my first time ever having a live Facebook audience. So I'm I guess I'm checking right about how you interact with them. Let me see this.
Let me go.
Okay, so you ready, Melanie?
I'm ready.
Okay, you can go ahead.
Miss Hardy, did you want to go first?
No, I was going to say, let me go first. I'm teaching, so I have a class at 1 o'clock.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we're working from home. And
Yeah,
I have a class at 1 o'clock, and I want to check in to see if they're going to show up. If
Okay.
they don't show up in 15 minutes, I'll be back. But I would just like to say that I have Dr. Janice Vincent's book. I didn't bring it home with me. It's an exceptional book. I have it at school, and oftentimes I'll turn to it and I'll say, let me share with you some of Dr. Vincent's work. So, but I'm going to leave and go to class, and I'll be back.
Okay. Thank you, Mary.
I'm so glad I get the opportunity to dive in a little deeper about my book on hybrid learning. I want to begin with how this book came about. You know, my school did not come back after spring break, and a lot of you did not. This meant parents had to become our teachers. And you all have done an exceptional job. Likewise, we started this year in August with our parents helping us, helping our teachers, helping their children. And so that's how this book came about. It's on how to teach in any environment. And that's what I mean by the word hybrid. So this book is going to take you through how to teach virtually. It's going to give you strategies. It's going to provide sample lesson plans for you. It will give you charts. It's also going to do the same thing for in-person learning. So when we say hybrid, we are saying let's do successful teaching and learning in all environments. I want to read to you one of the quotes in here. Change will not come if we wait for some other person or if we wait for some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. And Barack Obama said that. And how true it is right now. Now is the time. Now is the time for us to say, let's find the innovation. Let's help our students find their strengths and their talents. My book will start off with educational theories. For example, this one here is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Do you know that as grown-ups, we are still traveling through Maslow's hierarchy of needs? So we have our basic needs, food, water, air. We move up, we have to feel safe and secure. Our children must feel safe and secure in order to open their minds to learning. After they feel safe and secure, they're free to look for, do I belong? Do others value me? Do I value myself? And once students value themselves, then they are able to create. They're able to be innovative. They're able to be critical thinkers because they know they are in a safe environment. They know they are able to learn. The same thing happens to us as grown-ups. For example, when I started this new job, I didn't know anyone. I didn't know if I could fit in. But after I started learning, after I started getting to know people and people started getting to know me, I can now say that I can be my best self because I feel like I belong in my environment. So yes, we are constantly going through Maslow's, and this book will take you through that process of how to build on these levels. It'll show you and it will provide you with charts. It'll provide descriptions for you as you go through and as you are motivating your students, as you are helping them be successful in person and online. It comes complete with lesson plans. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, and I have it, and I've read this very good book on the subject matter. Congratulations. And again, for anybody that's just tuning in live, I'm Meredith Coleman McGee, and I just wanted to share with you some a little bit about some of my works. This is my first book that I wrote with Darlene Collier. It's a memoir. She's from Rankin County, and she had humble beginnings, but she became a history maker. So you can buy it for $7.99. It's a very good memoir, true story. And then I have a children's book series, the Nashida series, which I named for my grandfather, Moses Meredith Cultural Arts Children's Book Series. And Nashida, in these series, teaches history and civics, and she has basically, she takes readers with her as she tours because her parents take her on tours to teach her history and civics. And the most recent is Nashida visits the Old Capitol Museum. And this hardback edition is 11.98, and the soft cover edition, this is 80 pages, is $5.48. And this is Nashida visits the Mississippi State Capitol, and there she is, the character in front of our real state capitol, where lawmakers walk down the halls and make laws that impact us. And the hardback is 11.98, and the softback is 5.48. And this is Nashida visits the the Smith Robertson Museum. And this is the Smith Robertson Museum. It was founded by a former slave from Alabama who migrated to Mississippi and became our first lawmaker, as well as he started the school in 1894. Softback, $5.50, and the hardback, $11.98. Then I wrote a biography on my uncle, who was the first Black to go to the University of Mississippi. And this is the paperback, 330 pages. It's $14.98. The hardback edition, $28.88. And then this is Odyssey, softback, $11.98. That's the only book that I'm on the cover of. And this is my great grandmother. So this is a collection of my poems, speeches, articles I wrote for the Mississippi, the oldest Black newspaper in the state, the Jackson Advocate. And the last one is a study on business leaders. And the hardback is 19, and the softback is 11.98. Okay, thank you so much. Oh, Janice, I think, okay.
Again, I am Janice Neal Vincent. I'm holding up my book, spoken word choir book, A Little of Me, A Little of You. A Little of Me, A Little of You, spoken word choir book is the actual name. This book is available in hard copy as well as soft copy. The hard copy sells for $17.95, and the soft copy that I'm holding up here is $9.24. The shipping cost is $3. You can get this book through my Cash App, JK Vince. You can get it online through any of the online retailers. You can go to Amazon even. But A Little of Me, A Little of You is a positive self-esteem book. It's a book that uplifts, it inspires. How did I come about this book, A Little of Me, A Little of You? It was the Greater Jackson Arts Council that funded me as I went into the Jackson public school system and in the communities, directing spoken word choirs. Not only did I direct them, but I founded them. And I had all ages, children and adults, males and females. Everybody loves the spoken word choir. People began to realize how much of a self-esteem book this really was for them. And at the time, they didn't know, and I did not know, even Greater Jackson Arts Council did not know, that I would come up with a book. But over the years, 12 years in the making, I sat down one day and I discovered All of the pages I had stacked up from here and there, mounted up to this book you are seeing. I took the pages down to Greater Jackson Arts Council. They were found immediately, and the director said, we're going to do something with this. So this is what has been done with it. I am so happy about the spoken word choir book. It deals with civil rights, human rights, everybody's rights. I turn here instantly to my poem, Medgar Took a Stand. This is about the slain civil rights leader, Medgar Wiley Evers. And of course, he headed the NAACP, and he was shot down one night when he made it home in his driveway. This poem is so important for a child's self-esteem. Medgar returned to the mean Mississippi land because the cause he knew was greater than the man. He showed compassion for people through his actions as he was on his bout for human satisfaction. Dissatisfied he was with the system of things. He cried for dignity and respect for human beings. Medgar never tried to become famous or rich. Freedom for the people was his fiery sales pitch. Medgar, a hero, fought for justice and fair play. For the people, he craved a better day. He saw the shackles and wanted us all to be free. During all of his struggles, he did not cop a plea. The spirit of Medgar is always here with us. Until justice is won, we will keep up the fuss. Medgar wanted people to be civil, polite. Deep in our hearts, we just know Medgar was right. And as I was sharing this poem with you, Medgar Took a Stand, I was visualizing you and voices talking these 4 stanzas. That's what A Little of Me, A Little of You, spoken word choir book is all about. Any of these pages you turn to will uplift you, will uplift a child's self-esteem, will encourage you to be able to communicate effectively within your families, on your jobs, in the doctor's office, at the grocery store, wherever you may go. You will find a little of me, a little of you, because we all have so many things in common. I believe we have more in common than we do in difference. So this is the book, A Little of Me, A Little of You. Soft copy, just $9.24. Hard copy, $17.95. Shipping cost for that, this soft copy is $3. A little of me, a little of you. Whether this is a child, whether this is a teen, an adult, a male or female, you are here with me in the book. A little of me, a little of you. Spoken word choir book. So many things to talk about. So many questions that we have can be answered in this book as we share in a spoken word choir. I can hear the singing. I can hear the rhythm. I can hear the speaking of the voice, sounding like we are singing, but we are talking it. A little of me, a little of you. Spoken word choir book. Janice Neal Vincent.
All right, Vicki, you ready?
I am Vicki Jenkins, and I am the co-chair of the Community Library of Mississippi. And I have two books, holiday gifts for children from ages 4 to 7. First book, my first book series, which is a 6-volume book of reading, writing, math, and coloring activities. Second is my picture dictionary, which is a 3-page volume of reading, writing, studying geography and history. We have the maps of America, map of history, map of Africa, and the map of the 7 other continents. The images of all of the images and names of all of the 45 then, 46 now, of presidents. Also included are vegetables, also with pronouns, fruits, vowels, and consonants, and also 10 exercises of appropriate punctuation. The costs of my first book series is $11.98. My picture dictionary, hardback, full color is $16.98. Softback, full color is $14.98. And the softback, black and white, is $5.98. Each book can be ordered on Facebook. I will ship each book order today. All of the books are good holiday gifts for children. Happy holidays. Voici Noël.
Hello, I'm William Tress Jr. and I'm the author of Reverse Guilty Plea. It's a book about a fierce family feud that led to the wrongful incarceration of one of its own, that led to the turmoil behind the curtains of the Wilson family home. The protagonist, Charles Wilson, tried to do the right things, but his intentions did not serve him well. On the other hand, the villain, his younger and only sister, Aubrey, got away with grand theft and became the sole beneficiary of the family estate. Rising crime rates have led to the lack of efficiency in the U.S. judicial system, which endangers its proper functioning. The flawed system is a problem for ordinary Americans because, like Charles, they or their loved ones can inevitably become victims of it. As Charles learned, public defenders often encourage defendants to plead guilty, but I suggest fighting to clear one's record because a criminal record can limit one's ability to earn a living wage, or worse, disenfranchise them for life. And the second book is called The New Populist Party. It's a book about the same character named Charles Wilson that gets a pardon from the governor of Mississippi. And he rises from the very bottom of society to the very top of society. And he becomes the head of the New Populist Party, the spokesman part. And it's formed here in Mississippi, in Meridian. It's for rights for the average citizen and farmers who are trying to make ends meet. And it's for the average people that are not rich and are poor. And it's the system favors those that are rich, and the new Populist Party is the average person. And you can buy both books for $17 online on Amazon, or you can buy them for $17 on Facebook Live. And you can get an autographed copy sent to your door. Thank you.
Oh, I think you're next, Richard.
Okay. This is my book. It's called My Brother Bo, Addicted in Paradise. And it's about my brother's bout during his life with addiction. When he was a young kid, he was involved in alcohol and recreation drugs. And then for 30 years, he was sober. And then he had an operation on his stomach to alleviate a weight problem, and 2 subsequent operations on his knees to repair knee injuries that he'd suffered when he used to run marathons and other running activities. And my point is that he was sober for 30 years after his first addiction, and became hooked on drugs when he had these operations. And anyway, I'm not a sales type person, but this is my book. And if you want to buy it, you go to Amazon Books or Barnes and Noble or Meredith, etc. books, and you can see what the price of the book is. I'm not sure if it's the same as it was. It says $12.88 on the back. I want to just read what it says in the back, just kind of give you an idea of what this book's about, and then read something inside in the introduction. And I must point out that Meredith helped me edit this book and helped me put together the words in the introduction. But anyway, let me read what it says in the back. This is written by a lady who reviewed the book for the Tolucan Times, which is a small newspaper in Southern California. Her name is Mary Mallory. It says, Richard Hulse hopes to turn the tragic loss of his younger brother, Bo, into something that can help others recognize changing patterns in a loved one's life and the baffling effects of addiction. And that's what she wrote. It's on the back of this book, on the back cover. Here's what Meredith and I collaborated on as far as the introduction. This book is about the rise and fall of my brother, Bo Hulse. He walked over thorns in his journey, yet he managed to live life abundantly. Though he suffered with drug addiction and alcoholism, had grave insecurities due in part to weight control issues, he managed his demons and became self-sufficient. I'm proud to say Bo went far in life without a college degree. He exhibited extreme generosity and passion for those less fortunate than he. He loved his family and friends deeply, had great work ethics, and was able to expand his intellectual capacity later in life through self-study. Bo's story is significant because substance and prescription drug abuse are among some of America's most challenging public health issues. Prescription drug overdose has stolen the lives of millions of known and unknown individuals. Elvis Presley was one of the most iconic people we lost in our youth. Back then, the discussion of this subject was taboo. People are not afraid to talk about it today. My hope is that the education and public awareness will save lives and restore hope to families on the brink of giving up all hope on one of their loved ones. I remember distinctly that Bo usually accepted help and overcame obstacles and circumstances which caused him to follow a negative path in life. At other times, as hard as I or others tried to help and guide Bo, many times we hit a brick wall. Anyway, I wrote this book with the hopes that whoever reads it might get a little bit more insight to what's going on in their life if they have somebody that's involved in drugs or potential to be involved in drugs. And anyway, thank you for the opportunity to be on this show with these fine writers, and the sponsorship by Mississippi Community Library. Thank you. Take care.
Okay. Thanks a lot. So, Mary hasn't come back, but when she come back, she'll be able to do. And thank you for that, Richard. He actually did a reading. I think I'm gonna follow that example and do a reading until my read a blurb from the back of my books until my time is up. And I want to mention your book. The sales price on your book is $8.88 now. My brother Bo, and also I wanted to show the audience Community Library of Mississippi's two books, and also the Mississippi Humanities Council also supported Community Library of Mississippi goes virtual, and in the chat are evaluations that we could fill out at the end. This is my first book series. It's 208 pages. It's all hands-on coloring, writing, and counting and a spelling. At the end of each volume, the child receives a certificate. Oh, here's a certificate. To encourage them to go to the next book and complete the next volume. The name of the volumes is my 1 to 5 activity book, my A to G activity book, my H to P activity book, my 10 to 100 activity book, my 2 to 24 activity book. And this is the soft cover paperback edition of Community Library of Mississippi's dictionary. And it's, full color. And in the back, Vicki mentioned those are like the shapes, vowels and consonants. So these punctuations, colors, continents, Africa, world map. So this book is for children pre-K, kindergarten, first grade, but because of the resources in the back, we list image and the word for all of the vegetables and all of the fruits. The child could use this throughout their elementary years. And this is the black and white version. I mean, black and white in terms of it's black and white, and it's a cheaper version of $5.98. And both books, you could get both books for $27, and the shipping will only be $3. So for $30, you could get both of these books. And I think that and even William Tress's books, you could get both of his for I think $13. I think he said he was shipping for $3. Mary has returned. You ready, Mary?
Oh, well, I guess. Well,
Okay.
well, like I said earlier, I'm Mary Hardy. I am the co-owner of the book gallery in Greenville, Mississippi. We've been there for about 30 years, servicing the community, sort of similar to what Meredith does, but not to the extreme. I always say Meredith works all the time. She never sleeps. So I wish I could be that way, but I have to go to sleep. So I've authored 2 books, Uncle Hubbard and the Burlap Sack, and Snippets of Truth. Both are childhood stories. My brothers say that you can't say anything around me because I'll write it down. So I guess I've been writing stuff down for a long time. So Uncle Hubbard is, it's, you can get it for $10 from me today, autograph, then that includes shipping. Snippets of Truth can be ordered for $10 today, and that includes shipping. And they're, like I said, they're both childhood stories, that some that I remember and some that were told to me. You can also get it on Amazon.com, and it's also in Audible. It's I've listened to both of them. They're very soothing, will make you laugh, will evoke some memories that you have that you feel like you don't know about. But once you read the books, they'll, like I said, it'll evoke some memories from inside of you that you feel like you have forgotten. If you're in the Greenville area, stop by the book gallery. To order the books, you can cash out me, or you can do PayPal me. And thank you for listening and shopping with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. And I just have to say that as an author, the book gallery, I've had my best book signings and events at the book gallery, because and I've been there, I think maybe 5 or 6 times, and a lot of the authors, well, a few of the authors in our company have been there, and they've had the same experience. Mary, the book gallery has people that come to it that love books. And when you're an author and you're around people who love books, it's not the size of the crowd, but the enthusiasm of the audience who are there to support authors, because they actually appreciate an autographed book, and they appreciate reading the book and supporting the author. So I have to thank Mary many times for helping to introduce our books to people in the Mississippi Delta. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And so that was all of the pictures in that round. And if anybody has any questions to ask anybody about their book or books, feel free to do so before we start another round.
I have a question for Richard. I want to know, what might you have been going through as you looked at your brother and looked at yourself in terms of his fall, where he was in his life, and since that particular time in regrouping, what really were the pressures like? Do you find those pressures to revisit you as you even share the contents of the book? So can you, if this is too deep for you to talk about, then don't talk about it. But I just really would like to know what your thoughts may be overall about what I have said.
Last night, I talked to a friend of mine who lost a friend of his to alcoholism. And we were talking about these types of things you're mentioning here for about a half an hour. And he was trying to figure out why his friend ended up dying and all that after he had tried his best to help this man with his addiction. And I tried to talk to him about my issues and things like that I'd gone through with my brother, and he read my book. And when I was talking to him about my brother in my situation, especially at the end, I told him that after my brother died, I felt guilty that I had not done as much as I thought I could to help my brother. And then we kind of went back and forth sharing our views of his friend and my brother's life, and concluded that no matter how hard you try, that it's up to the individual who's involved with the drugs to seek help if they need it, versus me trying to impose something on them that they're going to resist. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's just an idea that I talked to my friend about last night. And, you know, we don't have all the answers to all these things that involve distribution of drugs and all that type of thing. And I don't know. That's
Thank
all.
you. The more I live, the more I realize that every situation we go through teaches us something. And that was why I was asking you. We can look back and wonder about what took place and what did not take place. And we sometimes beat ourselves up for not doing what we now know in our minds that we could have done to make a difference, that type of thing. But like I said earlier, each situation teaches us something. And I believe that it's not meant as we are going through something for us to see the whole picture. But we go through it and then we can look back at what did take place. And when we find ourselves in other situations, we should have learned something about that situation that we were just in, or some situations we were in 2 or 3 years ago, and we come to a process of growth when we are striving to become whatever that becoming is, because I believe we are processes we go through in order to arrive somewhere. And many of us can take that for granted and think nothing about it. Many of us can think a whole lot about it and learn from it and move forward. So that was why I was asking you, and I think you used very good example in terms of your conversation last night with someone. So I thank you so much, Richard, and I shall remember what you have shared today.
Well, I appreciate what you just said. It's not easy when you lose a loved one, as you know. And fortunately, I'm married to a wonderful woman who supports me, and every time I get down and out about something, I talk to her about, and she helps me. You know. Anyway, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
I wanted to add something to that. There's a picture that Richard gave me, and we put it in the book, of Bo's kitchen. And by the way, Bo lived on a island in Hawaii. He had a ocean view, but and the kitchen, you see the hoarding, which I understand is yes, and is a sign of trouble, and addiction is a illness. But I really learned a lot from the story, and it was really sad to me as a reader, because here's a person who was sober for 30 years and gets addicted to prescription drugs, and the whole issue of prescription drugs reminds me even more of why it's so important for people to have access to medical marijuana, which is much safer than prescription drugs. And I've met people in Mexico. We were there 3 years ago, And they were saying that their grandparents, great grandparents, that was their source for pain. They used marijuana for pain as medicine. Go ahead, Richard. You was holding up the page.
Oh, let me just see where it is. I don't know where it is. I've lost it. Wait a second. It's in here somewhere. There it is. You probably can't see it very well, but this is a picture of my brother's living room. And what was interesting is my wife and I had gone to visit my brother in Kauai in 2008, and his home was pristine and nice and neat and clean. And then 2 years later, he's hoarding things. And when I went over there to help my brother out, I walked into this mess. And besides the fact that he was in the hospital ready to die, I had this mess to contend with, and it was shocking to me. I mean, that multiplied the sad feelings I already had when I arrived. But anyway.
I've been on prescription drugs since 1976. I'm 62 years old, which means I've been on forever. And I've been trying to withdraw from sleeping pills, and my hands shake real bad. I know the feeling. I'm trying to withdraw from them,
Yeah, it's really something. Were there any other questions of any other of the books by the other authors?
No, I just thought about when Richard talked about his brother. I thought about Walter Anderson, the artist from the coast, who left his home and went out on the island and stayed. So it's kind of a parallel there with him and Walter Anderson.
And who is Walter Anderson?
The artist from Ocean Springs. I'm not sure. I mean, he's deceased, but his estate and the house where he had his artwork and resided is still there. They're in the process of trying to renovate it. But when he talked about his brother and living on that island, it just evoked that memory of what I've read and know about Walter Anderson.
Yes. And Janice, can you tell the audience how long you've been doing spoken word choirs?
Oh my goodness, I've been doing spoken word choir since the 70s. I founded my first one when I was an instructor at Northern Illinois University. And that went over so well with the students and the faculty that I just continued it. But of course, I grew up memorizing poetry. And my father would stand me up when the relatives from California and other places would come to visit so that I could recite some of the poems that I had memorized at home. And I have to say that he was really the one who early on encouraged me. I would be in my room and I would be talking the poem, whatever it might have been when I was a teenager. And I could feel that someone would be watching, but I didn't really know. Then I would turn around and I would see my parents standing in the doorway smiling. So they were actually encouraging me. Actually, my mother was a 12th grader and my father an 8th grader. My father was not able to continue his education because during the days of the Depression, where they both grew up, my father had to pull out of school and work for his family, my grandparents and their children. But my father and mother were proponents of education. And I remember them saying, don't come back without the answer when I was a child coming up. And that just stuck in my mind everywhere I would go. And when I became a faculty member, whoever had the answer, if it was a student, a little girl, a boy, I had to get it because they encouraged me. They knew that they could only go so far in their lives, having a family of 10 children to raise. And that was one of their ways of telling their children what we needed to do in order to survive. So don't come back if you don't have the answer. That just stuck there in my mind. The spoken word choirs I found to be a joy for me because the folks in the church, the folks in other parts of the community wanted to do it. When they would see me demonstrate, they fall in love and they just get right in there with me. And so it's been a wonderful thing. I've just been doing it actually all my life. When I look at my parents and their encouragement when I was memorizing poetry, just memorizing poetry, things that I like to do.
Well, Janice, how many siblings did you have, and did any of the other siblings like poetry like you did?
Well, I have 9 siblings. All of us are yet living. And some of them caught on and joined some of the spoken word choirs that I founded. Others just watched and encouraged us to move forward. There are a few, I think maybe about 2 or 3, who love literature, even to this day. And they'll come sometimes and share some things with me and ask me, how does this sound? The oldest sister said to me one day when I was telling her to do a poem or something in church, this was many years ago, she said, I can't express that like you. So those were the things that taught me that the family benefited, if that makes any sense, benefited from what I had to offer and were encouraged by that. So to this day, I can see some of them and they are expressing something that they have written or whatever, and they really put their hearts in what they are doing. So I think that's all part of this growing up phase that we have gone through as siblings within my family. And again, going back to this encouragement on the part of the mother and the father, who could only go so far in the educational arena because of us children, but then they knew what we needed. There's a poem somebody wrote some years ago about how they knew what we must know without ever knowing a page of it themselves. Well, that's how I look at my mother and father many times, because they knew what we needed. And when we go back to the so-called second-class citizenry as to how African Americans have been labeled down through the years, they knew what we needed to survive. And they gave us that legacy. So I cannot go back wherever I am without the answer. And that's why some people don't seem to understand when I'm persistent. I have to get the answer, Meredith. And so if you have it, I might be overbearing sometimes, but I've got to get the answer. And so when I get it, I'm satisfied. And I know that eventually the person that I've been bothering, disturbing, begins to understand some kind of way, I got the answer, and I'm well-meaning. Our parents are just people. They're just wonderful people. My father has been gone since '04. My mother is now not able to walk by several years, but she's still with us. And she is still in her home, the place where she wanted to be. And I praise God for that, because I look at where we are now as a society and all over the world in a pandemic. That would just have been horrible for our mother, because she always stayed at home and she sent us out. She sent our father out to do what was needed for the home and for the children.
That's a blessing.
Now we love on her. We take care of her. She's in her home. That's a wonderful thing to
Yes, it
just
is. That's a
about.
real blessing. And I wanted to ask Melanie, when you have you gotten any feedback from teachers that have used your book, or parents, and what was their feedback?
He's muted. Oh, she's
Yes, I have gotten a lot of feedback. The number one thing that teachers admire about my book is the way we're looking at the educational instruction as circles. And so we're looking at it as a circle, and we're noticing that on each educational theory, and we have the educational theory, we have Bloom's, we have John Piaget, and we have Maslow. Even looking at John Piaget, it kind of shows us that the cycle still continues on. I may have a student in 4th or 5th grade that still need hands-on learning when they're learning about money, and that's okay. So teachers really appreciate the way I show them, or the way the book discusses, here's some things that we need to know about how the brain learns. Just things that we often overlook, things that we don't think about. And so teachers are also enjoying the lesson plans that's attached to it. And it's free information to revamp, to use. It's all free resources and information.
Yeah, I found that very interesting, and also some of the quotes in the book as well, like from Einstein, and I thought it was just nice that you actually had the worksheets, and very practical use. It's very friendly too, user friendly.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And now, Mary, I wanted to ask you, you've been selling books for 25 years?
25, almost, yeah, 25.
I'm curious, which authors are the most popular in your bookstore? And what books do you have in terms of covers that would be hard to find somewhere? Like I know one time I came and I got something from, what book was that?
J. California. That's one.
Yes, I found one of her books in your store. So who is the most popular book author that Black author that you sold in your book store?
Well, you know, we've had Clifton Colbert's. We have his books, and he's visited. His children's books are bestsellers. We have some of Terry McMillan's. We have J. California Cooper. Most of your older authors have some of James Patterson.
James Baldwin.
James Patterson's books. So maybe some of John Gresham's. If there is an author that you're not sure that you are interested in, and you'd like for me to research and find it, I can do that. But lots of the older authors.
Yeah, Richard just asked, did you have James Baldwin?
some of James Baldwin. I think I have some of James Baldwin's. I was looking the other day, Eldridge Cleaver. Yeah, most of the old ones. I don't have that list. I don't have a Google Doc, like I don't have them listed. I'm at home, so I'm not in the store. So a variety of authors. But we do sell lots of Clifton Talbert's books. He's from that area. So, and he's written 2 or 3 children's books. So, you know, if there's something that you're interested in.
And yeah, you have a message in the chat, man.
I have a message in the chat. Okay.
Okay. William.
Mhm.
I wanted to, I was just curious, you know, I'm very familiar with even Melanie, I read her, I'm familiar with everybody's book that's here from having read it. So William, I wanted to know is can you read the some of the excerpts? Because you know what, we don't want to give any spoilers and tell too much about it, but I want to know if you could read some of the excerpts about your character, because you have a very interesting character who Charles Wilson, that goes from jail to the to the very top of American society. But I was just wondering if you could read some of the excerpts about this character that you created for
from both of my books.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can read a few of the excerpts.
Okay.
I mean you know the blurbs that you have on the back of the book.
Okay.
The blurbs.
Okay. Your uncle, James Meredith, says this book explains some important issues. Number 1, Mississippi's practice of purging felons from the voting roll has been a concern of mine for decades.
Okay.
And this book also, Reverse Guilty Plea, says Charles grew up in a middle-class home in Canton, Mississippi.
And what about the new Populist Party? Read some of those blurbs, which would give a little more information about your characters.
Okay, the new Populist Party is compelling, intriguing, and educational in its own right. It is easy to digest and comprehend the happenings. I'm thrilled to have read it. It's an amazing read from the beginning to the end. Lady Walker, the Lady Walker Show.
Okay.
And the new Populist Party is in Stanford, Princeton, American University, University of Michigan, University of Memphis libraries.
Yeah, we were just so excited when his book made it to the textbook market, because but he also has historic fiction in the book in terms of the Populist Party. He describes the history of the Populist Party, which was the presentation that he did during our speaker series, which is if anybody live would like to go back and see any of the videos that we did, they're on the Community Library of Mississippi's Facebook page under videos. But that was just amazing that his book made it to the textbook market. And again, to anybody in the audience or who may see this later, you can buy.
The Populist Party actually existed back in the late 19th century.
Was it 1892 or?
Yeah, 1892 to 1904 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I read that they still had influence all the way to the White House, even during the Great Depression. The farmers.
Oh, yeah, breaking down.
And some of the farmers were black. Right,
yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's about the average citizen and helping them, you know.
Yes. Okay, so we could, let me see. Normally Melanie goes first. I don't see her now, but Mary, do you want to do
Yeah.
your pitch? Oh, you're ready. Okay, so Mary, do you need to go?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, so we'll go back into order. Melanie, me, who is this? I think Janice, Dickie, William, and then Richard, and then we'll after that spend the other time with the discussion about the books. Okay, so Melanie, you can start.
Okay, thank you all so much. Thank you for having me today. I've really enjoyed it. I just want to share my book information with you all. So please, you don't need the availability. If you cash out me, it's $10. It's available online for $12.99. Here's my availability. Thank you all so much.
Okay. Okay, and so I wanted to I'm timing myself 40 seconds. I wanted to read what Darlene Collier wrote. This was my first work, 2012. It took years to complete Married to Sin, which is based on factual but unbelievable events that happened to me and my family. But every word of it is true. We must fight even when it seems useless. We must repent and forgive to free ourselves from self-imprisonment. Every tree has a root. We must dig deep to find the root of our problems. Okay, so wow, that went fast. This Married to Sin is $7.99. Um, you can get a autographed copy, or of course you can order it online wherever you buy books. And I think that oh, Janice, your picture's next.
Season's greetings. I'm Janice Neal Vincent again, and I'm holding up my spoken word choir book called A Little of Me, A Little of You spoken word choir book. It has a paperback that is $9.24, $3 shipping. You can go to my cash out and you can purchase the book. You can go online, Amazon, or any of the other retailers out there. The hard copy is $17.95. A Little of Me, A Little of You spoken word choir book. I have turned here to a very short poem in my category part 3 called Hope that I simply want to read to you. It's called True Self, and a child is speaking this poem. All voices are saying this one stanza together. Daddy says she can make it. Mama says she can make it too. You say she can't make it. She believes them, but she'll never believe you. And so there are many poems like this in the book, short and long, that speak to a person's self-esteem, whether one is a child, a teen, an adult. A little of me, a little of you. Spoken word choir book, Janice Neal Vincent. We can enjoy this book because we can talk it together. We can listen to each other, share the poetry. We are the poems in A Little of Me, A Little of You, spoken word choir book.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Vincent. But anyway, I am Mary Hardy, and I'm co-owner of the Book Gallery in Greenville, Mississippi. I'm also the author of 2 books, Uncle Hubbard and the Burlap Sack and Snippets of Truth. In order to purchase the books, you can cash out me or do PayPal me, or you can go to Amazon.com and order in paperback, or they comes in an audible form. I'd just like to share a little bit, a snippet of some snippets of truth, just a couple of lines of roasting potatoes over the open fire. It says building a fire on a winter morning was always an eventful chore. The person in charge had to start a fire that had to burn all day and into the night. During the day, my grandfather would roast sweet potatoes for a snack. And during the evening, we would sit around the open fire and roast them for dinner. Those potatoes were the best. So just enough to evoke a memory from you, to encourage you to write that memory down. So in the book, it has the little snippet, and it has notes where you can write after you have read the snippet in the book. So season greetings and happy holidays. And we hope you will purchase a book. Thank you.
Hello, I'm William Fresh Jr. I'm the author of Reverse Guilty Plea and the New Populist Party. You have to purchase both books to understand the two books, because Charles Wilson is the protagonist in both books. He rises from the utter ashes of defeat in the first book to victory in the second book. And you can get both books for $17 with shipping and handling on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. And you can also get them on Facebook Live. I wish you all a season's greeting and happy holidays.
Richard to talk. He's not doing. He's not muted.
Okay. Am I on? Okay. Yes. I have two books, holiday gifts for children ages 4 to 7. Each book has a 6-volume set for children to read, write, arithmetic, coloring activities. Picture Dictionary is a 300-page book of colors and words, for definitions and common sense of definitions. Which also includes the vegetables, which includes the pronouns, the fruits, which includes the volume and consonants, also includes a 10-sentence practice of appropriate punctuation. We also have the images of all the 45, at that time, now 46 presidents. We have information on geography, the maps of the continents, also to the ancestry, tracing our family tree, the ancestry. Each book, my first book series, 1198, Picture Dictionary, hardback full color, 1698, softback full color, 1498, and there's also a softback black and white, which is $5.98. Each book would make a wonderful holiday gift. You can order right now from Facebook or online from any given bookstore. We appreciate all of your attendance, and we appreciate everyone. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Joyeux Noël.
Richard, I think you're last.
Okay.
Pardon me?
This is my book that I wrote about my brother Bo. It's titled My Brother Bo, Addicted in Paradise. And it deals with the fact that he was addicted as a young man to alcohol and recreation drugs, and then went through rehab and for 30 years was sober until he had an operation on his stomach because of weight issue and 2 subsequent operations on his knees, which were damaged from running marathons for a period of years. And he became hooked on prescription drugs. And anyway, he ended up dying on the island of Kauai from drug addiction. And I wrote a book about it because I thought maybe his story would help others in this world who have a Bo in their family or in their friendship circles. Maybe give you an idea of how you might deal with addiction or deal with all the other ramifications of addiction, such as being told lies by the addicted person, that type of thing. Anyway, it's available on most of your retail bookstore sites. And I read something from the book earlier as introduction, but I thought maybe I'd just read a couple of the what they call advanced praise issues that are in the front of the book to give you an idea what some other people thought of the book. It says, My Brother Bo, written by Richard Hulse, is a compassionate story of how to deal with a loved one's addiction. Tells the story of how 2 brothers were so different, loved each other through thick and thin. Shows how heartbreaking it is to see a loved one go through their addiction and how frustrating it is to try and help them. Another person wrote, Richard Hulse's compassionate and insightful look at brotherhood torn apart by alcohol, drugs, and the times. Unfortunately, all the love and concern for our family we can muster can be destroyed by the power of drugs. It's a courageous yet heartbreaking journey we take into life. Times well lived, yet tragically ended too soon. These are just some things that some other people thought about my book. And thanks to Meredith McGee, she published a book back in 2016. And hopefully those of you who have read it benefited from it in being able to understand maybe more a little bit about drug addiction, specifically prescription drug addiction, and what it can do to a family and to an individual like my brother. I might point out he died on the island of Kauai, which is one of the most beautiful places on earth. And to be in such a place of beauty and then live in life in a tragic way, it really is sad. Anyway, take care.
Thank you. And so we were able to do 2 rounds of elevator sales pitches for our books today, and together, if I counted correctly, the 8 authors that are, it's 7 here because it was supposed to be another one wasn't able to make it. We represent 15 books here, and if you're just joining us live, the 7 authors that are here today have novellas, memoirs, biographies, poetry, and a nonfiction, and there are 3 educational books. One is hybrid learning, and the other 2, the Community Library of Mississippi benefits from all the proceeds go to the Community Library of Mississippi, and that is my first book series. It's 208 pages, full of activities. And Vicki mentioned that there is a family tree in it that introduces children to a family tree so they can write their name, their parents' name, and their parents' mother and father's name on the tree. And also, they get to write their name, their parents' names. A lot of practice writing, and there's a certificate at the end of each volume. And my picture dictionary is 70 pages with 300 images and words. Um, and these are the sample sentences. And uh, children love these books. And in fact, even in the Japanese market, a lot of people are using my picture dictionary because they start learning English when they're very young. So it's a very easy book to learn, but it's also fun because this one is coloring and other activities. All of our books are the link to our web pages or our books is on Community Library of Mississippi's Facebook page. I have Mary Hardy's web page, which gives her PayPal me as well as her Cash App. I have placed Melanie's link on the Facebook page under our live video. So if someone views it later, you can have access to each author's web page, which gives you a link to their books or the link itself. My brother Bo, we have a link of that book. We have a link to William Tress's two novellas, but not the hardback book. I didn't have a link for them, but I'll try to remember to put that on there later. And actually, we have about 12 minutes left. So I thought that since it's seven of us, we would just maybe we could just take 2 minutes to give our final thought to the live audience about our books. And we could go back in the same order that we started. Let me see. Melanie, are you? Okay, Melanie's not available right now. So I'll start with my. Okay, so what I wanted to do was I'm Meredith Coleman McGee. I'm the author of several books, 3 children books, the Nashida books, a memoir, a biography, and poetry, speeches, a collection of my writings for 20 years. And I wanted to read one of the excerpts one of my cousins
Okay,
wrote.
I was on campus.
It says, I acknowledge my grandfather Moses Arthur Meredith, 1891, 1865, known affectionately as Cap. He and his wives, Barbara Nash Meredith and Roxy Patterson Meredith, provided academic, civic, and moral training to their children at home, which has influenced the advancement of our offspring. My grandmother was Roxy. She often told us stories about Black life and Granddaddy Cap and family history. She always had kind words to say about Miss Barbara. Now that's just something that I wrote, And on our Facebook page, I have my link, Meredith Coleman McGee, to all of my works. You can click on that, and you'll be able to click on the links for my soft cover, hardback, and also I have 4 audio books, and you could click on any of the books and buy them. And if you would like an autographed copy of a book, you could pay, use our PayPal, me, Meredith, etc., or Cash App, which is also Meredith, etc. Okay, so I'm not sure. I think Janice is next.
Oh, okay. Well, again, this is my book, A Little of Me, A Little of You, spoken word choir book. We can speak all the poems in here together. There's a leader who talks in many of the poems, backed by all, backed by chorus, backed by different voices, like light, medium, dark. If we were singing this, it would be soprano, alto, bass, something like that. But anyway, there is much harmony in the book that comes from this book, A Little of Me, A Little of You, spoken word choir book. There's also a primer in here that tells the director how to direct a spoken word choir. What are some of the things that you would need to look for? The soft copy is $9.24, $3 shipping cost. My Cash App is JK Vince, B as in victory, I-N-C-E, JK Vince. So you can go to the Cash App and you can buy the book. You can also purchase it through online retailers like Amazon and so forth. But again, it is A Little of Me, A Little of You, spoken word choir book. We are all in this together. The children, the teens, the adults, the males, the females. A Little of Me, A Little of You, spoken word choir book.
Well, season's greetings again. I am Mary Hardy, co-owner of the Book Gallery in Greenville, Mississippi, author of 2 books, Uncle Hubbard and the Burlap Sack and Snippets of Truth. The books are available on Amazon. You could also Cash App me at Cash App mhardy47 or PayPal me. The books are childhood stories, childhood memories, that some that were told to me and some that I actually remember. We want to thank you, Facebook friends and Zoom friends, for listening and watching today. We hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Well, I guess it's my turn now. Community Library of Mississippi has 2 books for children ages 4 to 7. First book, my first book series, a series of 6-volume set, including writing, math, coloring activities. My picture dictionary is a 300-word page of extensive writing, common sense defining of words, images and pictures and colors. We have of the present 45 presidents, 46 currently, the names and images of the presidents, which have included vegetables, which is also selected with pronouns. We have fruits, which is selected with vowels and consonants. And we have 10 examples of punctuation sentences. Each book picture library, picture book series, say first book series, $11.98. Picture library, hardback full color, $16.98. Softback full color, $14.98. And softback black and white, we have $6.98. Each book is to be given, and it is for holiday gifts for children from age 4 to 7. We wish and hope that the books will be given out, will be distributed. We thank you.
My name is William Trash Jr., and I'm the author of Diversity Plea. And it's a book about how the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution is no longer followed, and the Sixth Amendment, the right to a fair and speedy trial, is no longer honored by our judicial system. And the new Populist Party is a book about how a guy named Charles Wilson rises from the very bottom of society, the very top of society, getting a pardon from the governor of Mississippi. You can get most books for $17 with shipping and handling. You can get them online on either Amazon or Barnes and Noble. You can get them on Facebook Live. And I wish y'all a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
William, since I am so much interested in politics and given the current news, I'm going to order from you 2 books of the Populist Party. I will come by and pick them up.
Well, I appreciate that.
Janice, my career was in corrections. And when you mentioned Medgar Evers and all other civil rights icons, I did get to see, when he came to the penitentiary, Byron de la Beckwith, also too Edgar Ray Killen, who was convicted of killing of the 3 young men for voter registration. I was not impressed with either one of those. Edgar Ray Killen was truly a Ku Klux Klan, and he still is. Byron de la Beckwith, I believe he just didn't know his right from his left. He didn't do that on his own. Somebody instructed him to do that assassination. I also have the person or the assassinator of the Vernon Dahmer house, Sam Bowers. I saw him. He was the quote unquote grand wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. He stayed there. He is deceased now, and he stayed in the penitentiary until he was deceased. Beckwith is also deceased. Edgar Ray is still living. Bless him.
Yes, as you were talking, I thought about a number of things. I thought about when I had just come back from Northern Illinois University and started working at Jackson State. And I was a spokesperson for the African American community through a law firm for a short time. And I went to a radio station there in Hattiesburg. And I remember saying something about cracking down on the different ones who were doing the crimes and blah, blah, blah. And I really didn't realize at the time that my life could have been in danger if somebody had heard the statement and who had come out to the radio station to do whatever. But anyway, I was thinking too about Byron de la Beckwith's son. I was sitting beside him a few years ago at the MATA downtown, the Mississippi Department of Archives. we were at an event where different ones were presenting some research. And I did not even realize that I was sitting beside him. He struck up a conversation with me. And when I looked at him, I saw Baron de la Beckwith. And I tried to hold my face so that he would know that I was really startled. But we carried on a decent conversation for a long time. And he told me that he was from Canton and he started talking about his dad and just different things. That was such a moment for me because I did not realize that I would see the sun and I would be there talking with the sun. When I went by my parents' house, I said, I just saw Baron de la Beckwith. And so they didn't know what I was talking about. And then I went on and I described the incident. I'm saying all that to say, we never know who is beside us. And we never know what we might be saying when we come across such a person. I was given his card, I was given his contact information, just all kinds of things. Well, of course, I just could never bring myself to call him because I kept thinking about the father and what the father had done to Megan. I never could call him, but it was a decent conversation. And that stayed with me a long time. It helped me to know that because one had committed a crime, the relative may not be guilty. But it was truly a twilight zone for me when I was sitting there beside him. So you made me, Vicki, remember things like that.
Okay, so we have come to a close. So the evaluation is in the chat, and I also emailed it for our reviews. And I want to thank each of you for participating in Community Library Mississippi Goes virtual. It's been a great run, and next year we'll be starting organizing book tours for the book toasters, and we're still looking for online venues for interviewers and for spaces for authors to do book readings and sales virtually. And I think everybody presented this last time. Richard didn't present it this one. Do you want to give one final comment about my brother Bo before we end, Richard?
Yeah, this is my book that I wrote about my brother Bo, Addicted in Paradise. And it's about his life, basically. He was addicted to drugs when he was a young kid. And then he had sobriety for 30 years after going through rehab, and then succumbed to prescription drug addiction as a later adult. And anyway, it's available on all the retail sites that sell books. I'd like to say something though about Janice when she was reading earlier in the morning here, afternoon where you guys are. And you know, usually when you have somebody present a poem, they read it or recite it. And when she was presenting, she emoted the poem to me. It was full of emotion. And I would hope that your book is in, it can be an audio book, because I think it really affected me hearing you read your poem from your book out loud. Anyway, buy my book if you want, but also buy the other people's books, and happy holidays to everybody.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
And if everybody could, before we end, look in the chat, because we have a very special message from Janice. She has given us her email, and she would like for us to contact her after this event ends. And I want to tell the audience that's watching live from our Facebook page, thank you for participating, and thank you for watching. and happy holidays to you. And also, again, I want to mention that information on how to contact each author here is on our Facebook page below this live video. Even if you watch it later, you'll be able to. Mary Hardy's web page is there. My web page is there. Janice's access to her book, a spoken word. I mean, Little Me, a Little You spoken word choir book is there. Richard Hurst's biography is there. And then our two books, which is a great good for any kid 4 to 7. The links for both books, my first book series, which is 208 pages, and my picture dictionary, which is 70 pages with over 300 words and images. And then William Tress's 2 novellas, the links to buy them is there, and you can get both for less than for $13 and $3 shipping. Richard Hurst's book is $8.88. Janice Neal Vincent, her soft cover book, which is full of poetry, and I think every music teacher should get a copy of a Little B spoken word choir book. It's the soft cover $9.24. And Mary Hardy has 2 wonderful books, Snippets of Truth, and Uncle Hubbard's Burlap Sack. She's offering them both for $10 each with shipping today, autograph. And all of us are offering autographed copies of our works today. But of course, you can buy them anywhere you buy books, anywhere in the world. They're available. So thanks for tuning in. And to close, everyone, could you just say your name and the title of your book, and then we'll end this presentation. Meredith Coleman McGee, The Sheeta Books, Marriage to Sin, James Man of Warrior, Odyssey. Janice.
Janice Neal Vincent, A Little of Me, A Little of You, spoken word choir book.
Mary Hardy, Snippets of Truth, and Uncle Hubbard and the Burlap Sack.
Okay.
William Tress, Reverse Guilty Plea, and the New Populist Party.
Vicki Jenkins, Community Library.
Community Library of Mississippi. My first book series and my picture dictionary. And Richard.
My turn?
Oh no, I was just I'll let you say your name and the name of your book before we close.
Excuse me, my first book series and picture dictionary, Community Library of Mississippi.
All right, okay, Richard.
My Brother Bo, Addicted in Paradise, Richard Hulse.
Okay, very good. Okay, so it's a wrap, you guys. Did you all get Janice's email out the chat before I end the meeting?
You got it?
Make sure you get it.
Thank you. Thank you.
But what I'll do is I'll just email her. I'll email her email and her comment to all of us in a second. Thank you so much.
I'm getting ready to get out.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Books are good gifts for Christmas. Shop with us.
Enjoy it. Y'all have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you. Thank you, Meredith.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you very much.
Happy holidays.
Okay, happy holidays.
Yeah. Joyeux Noel. Merry Christmas.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.